Jay Turcot. Where are you, sir? I want to welcome Jay Turcot. He's the lead scientist for Affectiva, which is kind of sprouted out of MIT labs, among other brains, I'm sure. And Jay's got a really cool demo for us that might even see somebody smile.
Oh.
We've got dongle issues tonight.
Yeah, we're off to a great start.
So Jay has a table in the back too. He's got some swag he's giving away, and to learn more, definitely check in with these guys.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna put this down for now because this is where there'd be like a slide with an icon and maybe some more information about me or something like that. But I was explicitly told no PowerPoint slides. My name is Jay Turcot, and I'm here to talk about Affectiva. Affectiva is an MIT Media Lab startup, and we're focused around emotional measurement. What we've got is a new kind of intelligence to today's digital world, which is emotional intelligence. What we've developed is software that's capable of looking at people, analyzing people's facial expressions, and from their facial expressions, trying to learn more about their emotional state. So, what's the point of this? Well, the original vision of Affectiva was, we live in this great technological world. There's almost seemingly nothing that technology can't do. But for the most part, this idea of technology is this cold, sterile, impersonable, Hal the robot kind of thing. And we don't think that should always be the case. What if technology could empathize? What if it understood how you felt and, better yet, could react, could modify itself to how you're reacting? So imagine apps, games, digital experiences that understood how you felt. How cool would that be? So that's Affectiva's vision. That's the technology we're trying to develop, and that's the kind of technology we want to put in developers' hands. We look at the face because the great thing about the face is that you get this signal onto people's visceral reaction with only one sensor, a camera. Now, where do we have cameras? Well, it turns out my laptop's got a front-facing camera. Turns out this iPad has a front-facing camera. So just an idea of how the technology works. It localizes my face. It's able to correctly detect that I'm a male. As I make different facial expressions, it can actually recognize. I'm really happy, so I'm trying not to smile, but.
Smile.
There you go.
Delicious. Come on, man.
Yeah.
No, that was not a smile.
I think you can even do the duck face. So if you want to extend Twitter to never allow duck faces on your Twitter feed, we've got the technology for you. But really, when you see this demo, it's kind of like a really cool technology. Well, what would you do with this? How have you turned this? This is a question that's come up. How have you commercialized this? Can I get one person from the audience just to come up here? Anyone? Do it. Yeah. So just center your face. Hold it up sort of near the mic, but what you're going to do is just watch a video.
What video?
No, you can take it.
Okay.
This looks new. Okay, caution. There is a dangerous smell, people. Hang on, what is that? This is disgust. She basically keeps Riley from being poisoned, physically and socially. Is that bright colored or she could have had blackness? It's broccoli.
And obviously it's not
I
working.
just saved her lives. Yeah, you're welcome.
Right, if you don't eat dinner, you're not going to eat dessert. Wait, did he just say we couldn't have dessert?
That's anger. He cares very deeply about things being fair.
So that's how you want to play it, old man? No dessert? Oh, sure. We'll eat our dinner right after you eat this. Right. Here comes an airplane. Airplane. We got an airplane, everybody.
So note to self. Thank you. Oh, that would have been great. Note to self, VGA does not transmit audio. So how this technology was first used, we've been around for actually 4 years, but for the first 4 years, Affectiva was focused on media testing. This technology has actually already been used by 1,400 brands around the planet. Unilever, every single one of their advertisements that gets shown on television globally is actually running this technology alongside survey questions so they could find out how people are reacting to their advertising. CBS has used it on television shows, it's been used on movie trailers. What we want to do is sort of open the floodgates and go beyond that, go beyond, what do consumers feel about brands, and put this in the hands of app developers to see, well, what can you do with this technology? So as such, we stripped this technology down. It used to run on servers. Now it's exposed as SDKs, free to develop from or free to download from our website, and it runs in iOS, Android, Windows. We're even making a Unity plugin so people could add it easily to games. Because really, we want to see what you guys can do with it. Cool. Thank you.
So I'm just going to reset the clock. So we've got 5 minutes. I'm sorry, I called it Activa. It's
Affectiva.
Affectiva.
It's a terrible name. I didn't come up with
The
it.
autocorrect solves that sometimes, but
Yeah. Hi.
Hey.
This is kind of loud. I have a question about how you guys cross the border of different cultures. So maybe there are some human responses that bridge that, but I feel like a lot of times, I don't know, if I grew up in a different country, I might react differently with my face just because of social customs. So how does your software kind of negate that issue?
Right. How we've had to address that in the media world, because they really do care about sort of global responses and how comparable that is across culture. You're really right in assuming that there are cross-cultural differences in people's facial expressions. What we have right now is, over the years, we've got, I think, close to 4 million responses over 75 countries and about 40 billion data points in a repository that we can actually look and normatively compare these cross-cultural differences. And also gender and age differences are there. Right now, that's not built into the SDK for an individual user. That's sort of stored server side, and we're finding out ways of sort of easily exposing that to help proper interpretation. Because what's happening to a person on a moment-by-moment basis, you're getting that at 5, 10 frames per second in real time, like all these different measures of the face. But where it becomes really challenging and where we're focusing our efforts now is on the proper interpretation of that. How we've had to address it in the media space is just through tons of data and normative comparisons. And how we do that as we enter new markets that's one of the things we have to sort of figure out. That's sort of the next problem we need to solve and the one we're really excited to solve. Sorry? Difficult, yeah.
Insane, like mean labor. Unless you have a supercomputer. So I will actually have a question to you. Like I think technology is amazing. I think also human sensibility is not really truly reflect the technology. Whatever you do, it doesn't reflect the whole magic of the human being. So the danger is, as long as you push your product, if we lose this human sensibility, what's going to happen with new generations? And, I'm not asking you in a profitable sense, but what you do with your technology, having this delta in your mind?
that's deep.
I think it was just to address the gap between sort of the human brain and its interpretation of what's happening.
How accurately are you when there's a gap between how you're accurately representing something and what it is? How do you feel about that when you're the technology providing it? Is that fair?
No.
All right, I give up.
No. What's gonna be the new generation? Like what I was thinking about as a mother of 6 kids, yeah? Raising kids as possible as I can raise kids responsibly as I can to be emotionally evolved. So I think one of the part of the human development is emotional intelligence.
Yep.
And be able to relate to people deliciously and sweet. So your technology have a gap between this one and just have a profit. So how can you close this gap?
Sorry, I don't think I caught the question.
How about this? They've got a table in the back. You guys circle up later.
Yeah, I don't want to dodge. I'm sure it's an amazing question, and we will talk. Sorry.
Hey, are you concerned that this could be used for evil and not just good? No, I mean, I'm serious.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. Since the early days, people see the television show Lie to Me.
And I'd like the SDK for evil, but
Yeah. People have seen this show Lie to Me. Can these subtle facial expressions, being able to pick them up and register them, help you detect when someone's lying? It could be. That's not a problem we're trying to infer. That's not a model we're trying to build on top of it. Right now, it's what we're trying to do is, so could it be used for evil? Potentially. One of the things that we want to do, sort of the core belief of the company, is we've always wanted this to be an opt-in technology. We have always wanted this to be a technology that's used to make people's experiences better, make things more engaging, make things more fun, make apps do interesting new ways. There's a great social media app that's using this to share how, friend circles are reacting as you stream something live, because you can't actually possibly look at all your friends that are tuning in to your live streamed moment to see how they're reacting. It's called Trouble. It's awesome. Check it out. But to a certain extent, when you put this out there in the wild, I don't think we've ever had something that butts up against our core beliefs and whether or not we wouldn't license it to a company doing this. If there's so much demand from so many use cases, I think one of the core beliefs of the company is that we want this to be used for really good things. We want this to help further understanding of human emotion, because we do have to push that barrier. There's not a lot that's known about human facial expressions at scale in all sorts of different contexts. It's data that just never existed because it was way too hard to get before. So could it be used for evil? Potentially. Do we want to use it for evil? Definitely not. It started as an assistive technology for people with autism, and it grew into its first vertical, which was media, and now we want it to pull back more towards the original vision.
All right. Got a question here. So what's the most interesting use application of your SDK that you've seen so far to you? And the second question is, how do you plan on monetizing this or even opening it up? Because, I don't want to be building a business off of your SDK and have you charge me or shut it down in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
So the most interesting use cases I've seen from it, the social media, one good example. There's a company looking to integrate it into video chat. I think for me, the most exciting one is going to be in social robotics, where you put this in a social robot. We are in discussions with a social robotics company that wants to have their robot understand the different members of the family. They'll probably get face recognition module from someone else, but from us, they'll get how people are, reacting. And I think that's really cool, because that's really this concept of you interacting with technology in a new way. We've seen games, people have made cool games where it's kind of like a staring contest. The first person to smile loses. But the social robotics really speaks to the original core of let's change how people interact with technology. So I think that's the coolest. In terms of the monetization, right now it's free trial to download. From there, I think it gets into a business negotiation with our VP of Biz Dev. I'm actually not too savvy. We're exploring ways of taking down barriers for people to use this, because I think for this to really succeed, to get it out there and get it in people's hands.
Hi, Jay.
Hey there.
I played around with your system a little bit earlier, so I know it works good from the neck up. I was curious if there are any companies out there who do more the entire body, like how they're acting. I know there are cameras out there that will track aggressive movement to see someone might be getting attacked, assaulted on a college campus, that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you guys are in talks with any of those, or if you guys are considering expanding to that.
Yeah. So as an emotion company, I'm sure there are companies there with focused around security, anomaly detection, looking for people falling in stores so you don't get sued, things like that. We're an emotion company. We have looked at potentially extending to signals beyond just the face. There's body language, but recognizing sort of what's the most far-reaching and what's the most prevalent. the face is still by far the richest source of information, so that's where we focused on. We've talked about gestures, different head gestures that might be used, nodding, shaking, etc., but that's not something that we've found valuable enough to go after yet.
All right, we're officially out of time.
Well, thanks for all the
Jay,
questions.
thank you.
We're at the back.
Yeah, you guys, they've set up in the back. Go visit and
Try it out.
try it out for sure. Awesome stuff. Thank you
you.
so much.